This is Sean McGuire.
And this is Juan Marino.
And welcome to our 5th episode of Big Game Freaks.
Welcome back to Biggamefreaks. As you may have noticed, it's been a while since we've done our last show. And that's because we've been on winter break. And well, now we're gonna talk about what we've been playing on winter break and what we got also. So
It's been a month, so we've got many plans for you guys. We'll introduce new topics. And for next week, we'll even introduce a live show for you guys. And
that's great.
We'll allow you guys to participate. We'll give you the time and the details at the end of the show.
Yeah, look forward to that. And now, well, what have you been playing in the winter break?
Well, let's talk about our vacations, of course.
Yes.
Well, this winter I'd anticipated that I'd beat 8 games, but many things happened which I still loved. I beat 3 games though, and I was working on 2 games after that. I beat Mario Galaxies 1 and 2.
Woohoo!
I know. Mario time! Super Mario Galaxy! Woohoo! And then I also beat an old RPG called Phantasy Star, which I loved.
Nice. That's pretty much one of the most important RPGs.
I've read that it's
of history, pretty
the
much.
second most influential RPG according to a list, because it was the first video game RPG that created a different setting aside from the medieval fantasy setting. That an RPG can work in a space setting, a pure space setting.
And what about the features, the gameplay features
of Phantasy Star?
Yes.
Well, let me just give a little overview on the story, and then I'll say the features.
Mm-hmm.
The story is about a woman who's 16 years old named Alice Landale, and her brother has been killed by a sentry bot ordered by the evil King Lazic. And your mission is to avenge your brother. I forget his name. It's maybe... I think it starts with an A. I forget. But if I remember, I'll let you know. And your mission is to find Odin, find partners along the way, Odin, Meow, and Noah, and explore the 3 planets in the game to get stronger and finally find King Lazic. And in the game, you get the RPG map overview, similar to Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy back then, and the labyrinth style, similar to old games like Wizardry, Might and Magic, and Bard's Tale. So when you're in the fields and towns, it's map overview. When you're in the dungeons, it's a labyrinth.
Okay, that sounds nice.
And it's such an amazing game. And also, the thing that makes the game amazing is it's a very hard game. The labyrinths are very difficult, ranging from floor to floor, and also, since there's no decoration, you must actually make your own map sometimes.
So what about the innovations to the RPG genre?
To that one?
Yeah.
It was the first RPG to, like I said, introduce a pure space theme. You can actually travel from planet to planet. There are 3 planets in the game.
Nice.
There is Palma, the lush green planet. There is Motavia, the desert planet, and Dazorus, the ice planet. You must travel from planet to planet, explore more of the planets when you get more features from the different planets. For example, the Land Rover from the Motavia and bring it back to Palma, or the Ice Digger to explore more of Dazorus. Each of the planet's tools in the game help you out. Great game, and then once you meet Lazic, it's very ultimate. Very amazing. He's none of the 3... He's in Palma, but he's beyond everything. And he wants to rule all of Algo, the solar system.
Anything else you want to add about Phantasy Star?
I'd recommend to any gamer who wants to try a hybrid of overhead RPG and labyrinths. And a game that you think it's serious, but then it ends up silly in the end, you could say. Because, can I just spoil what the credits are at least?
Oh, definitely.
Well... You're hearing about the serious story, but then once you see the end screen, the credits are the labyrinth. You explore the labyrinth, and you see the credits.
Wow.
And you think, this is serious stuff. No, this is silly. And I was laughing at the very end.
And what about your experience with Mario Galaxy? What do you think of it?
I've beaten Galaxies 1 and 2. With the first game and second game, I both loved greatly. They're great small levels. They remind me of 2D levels when you have to go through each of the small levels. I just wish for a 3D game like Mario Galaxy maybe to have larger worlds like the older games, or to be more connected, perhaps. But
like Mario 64?
Yes, exactly. Even Mario Galaxy I loved as well. If the worlds were larger, I'd love it even more, because that's what 3D gaming should be all about. But it was really interesting to have a 3D game that introduces 2D as well, and have lots of small levels. It's like back to the old Mario days.
The old format, pretty much, of having levels.
And cool power-ups, too. I love that.
Yeah, that was nice. It had the cloud thingy, the cloud power-up, and the rock power-up where you roll.
Fire flower, ice flower.
Yeah.
Star.
And the spring with the spring.
Spring, yes.
I hated that one.
Well, I liked it.
I just hated that one.
If your head was on top, then you can control your next spring. If you were upside down, then your spring was less controlled.
Yeah, I hated that one because actually when in the levels they put the spring power up was full of holes and stuff like that.
Yes. Or in Galaxy number 2, where you have to roll around the chomps that would roll around. You must actually hop over them.
Well,
that was a little challenge. That was a little strange.
Yeah, I hated those levels.
And at the time, hop 1, hop 2, hop high, hop 1, hop 2, high.
Yeah, I hated them while I was playing, but after beating them, I was like, yes, finally.
I just love it all.
Yeah.
When I was exploring Galaxy 22, I really felt that I was in a video game world.
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
It's a pretty nice game, in my opinion. One of the best game series on the Wii. So if you have a Wii and...
It's a must-have, please.
Yeah. If you don't have those games, or you only have the first one, go for the second one too. It's great.
I just hope the future titles are larger, because that's what we've really anticipated for.
Yeah, probably that may happen in a future
maybe
system.
in the next Nintendo system.
Yeah, maybe, because it would have more space definitely in the disc.
Because do you think that game developing expectations will rise, perhaps bigger worlds, because that's what we care for, more bang for our buck?
Who knows? I mean,
there's really no speculation on the future of expectations of games.
I mean, Nintendo's kind of greedy at times because...
It has been.
Yeah, because...
Especially on its indie developers.
Yeah. And, who knows if we're gonna get longer games in a single disc. But I definitely hope so.
Because back then, that's what I really cared about.
Yeah. We wanted to have fun for hours and hours playing. Or even if we didn't have time, we wanted to play for hours until what level and then continue.
Imagine a Zelda game where it's twice the size of Ocarina of Time, and it's got a working formula just like that game. I don't even care if it's the same formula. Make it twice as large, more bosses, more treasures to do more features. I'd love that. Anyone would agree with that one.
Well, I will probably agree after I play the game, because I haven't played that game yet.
Juan's going to get a 3DS perhaps and get... Zelda on 3DS.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna play that Zelda on 3DS when I get it. Who knows when, but I'm definitely getting a 3DS.
And for America, it's not going to get released right away, but in Japan, it will.
Yeah, we'll have to wait here, but it's gonna be worth the wait. So.
Well, that's because American marketers want to sell games at strategically appropriate times, just like what the American president Reggie Fils-Aimé says.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that view.
Well, not really. Me, not really either. Because really, when you launch a system, you have to have a nice launch.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because he wants to release games that would be strategically marketable to the masses, not so much to the core gamers that anticipate the coming of these games. So he wants us to wait, create the build-up, and then release.
But I think that Zelda, Mario, and all the big franchises of Nintendo are pretty easy to sell to the masses. I think.
But then again, Japan's going to get them right away, but we're not.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean,
that's because we're going to get sports titles, violence games, because that's the American demographic for the masses, for gamers.
Yeah, we're going to get
not
Nintendo.
The core gamers, not the core gamers.
But I hope that the wait is worth it, because the 3DS
it will give you time
to
wait for the price to decrease or build up money, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're trying to look for a silver lining.
Yeah. But the launch lineup is not really that strong. Maybe if you're...
Not so much.
Yeah.
They even had to delay Metal Gear Solid 3 because they said they want to fix more things, which is fine. Just like the famous Miyamoto phrase, a delayed game will eventually be good. A rushed game will be bad forever.
Yeah.
Which I agree with.
That's true.
But some
that's
games complete themselves, but then want to add in more things afterwards to make the game even better, like Red Dead Redemption or Mass Effect 2, which I'm not a big fan of. It's really a way to squeeze more money out of an incomplete game.
And the problem is that they use DLC as an excuse to get more money out of you.
Because we're expected to pay full price on a game that will get more features later on. I want a game where if you want the extra features, you must work hard in the game, not pay more money outside of the game.
Yeah, that sucks.
I don't like that at all. Because with old games, if you work hard, you get the rewards. It's all in-game and there's certainty.
Yeah, and every single thing was inside that game. You bought it and you got the complete package. Now you pretty much have to wait for DLC to get something else maybe.
That is not a good move for gaming as a whole.
Yeah, that sucks, and that's an awful thing that Capcom is doing, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned something about what Capcom's doing too.
Yeah, with characters on Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Go ahead.
Pretty much they already announced some characters for DLC before even
for
finishing.
downloadable content. Oh, that's why they're ripping you off.
Yeah, before even finishing announcing all the players.
Just put them in the game. Don't rip us off.
You have a Blu-ray, for God's sakes.
How about this? How about for each downloadable content, make the game cheaper and cheaper? There you go. It was for what, $10 per character? Then make the game. If it was 2 characters to be released for DLC, then make the game $20 cheaper for our sake then.
Well, $20, that's probably asking for too much.
Then put them in the game in advance. We're not going to pay $20 more for a $60 game. That's unfair as well.
And and speaking of paying more, that's one of the reasons I'm not getting DC Universe Online, because I was looking forward to the game so much. I love heroes and villains and all the stuff, but after you play the game, I think you have to pay a monthly fee.
No, I don't like
to
that.
use their servers. That doesn't really appeal to me too much.
Well, let me talk about a better game that does not care about your money as much, and a game that actually provides for you. Dragon Quest IX.
Oh, again?
Yes, they're going to provide an internet service for over a year, so you can get special quests, special guests, one for a year, no money involved, just in-game gold.
That's nice. That's nice.
And again, you can be able to play with people, so if you bought the game, it can still play with you. This game still provides. It's still going on. I'm not sure what the deals are for this week, but last week was the Pirate Booty sale.
Wow. So the game pretty much.
It's not greedy
when was
to you.
it? When was it released in the US?
It was released in America July 11th, but you can get the game a day early, and I actually met the creator, like I said.
Yeah, and that's nice that they are still pretty much.
They care about the gamer.
Yeah, they are still giving out goodies for the people who bought the game.
Yes,
that's great, for free. That's good.
There are more quests on the way, and I'm still getting them.
That's nice. That's something that other developers and publishers should do, pretty much, in my opinion.
And I think that, Dragon Quest IX is a perfect example. Just like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, they've got perfect morals and perfect expectations for what we want for games. With Dragon Quest, it keeps on providing in-game for free. We don't want to pay more. That's not appealing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if that's the case, I'll opt out.
Yeah, the games themselves are not really cheap at this moment. $60, $50, not really cheap at all.
Because you don't want to deliver a message that's not where we want gaming to go.
Yeah, we want a full game when we buy it, and that's definitely what we want.
Well, that kind of segues into our new topic with the new portable releases coming up.
Oh yes, recently Sony has announced their new sequel to the PSP, and it's called
NGP, Next Generation Portable. I was going to have you say it with me.
Oh. But in my opinion, it's an awful name, but
that's just the project name. They perhaps want to have a more appealing title.
I hope so, because the name sounds awful in my opinion, but the system actually looks interesting.
It's a little tongue twister, or it's pretentious.
I don't know, but
because it's the next generation.
NGP.
Just like with Sega Genesis, we're the next generation. Sega does, but Nintendo don't. We are the next generation. We're the cutting edge graphics. They are pretentious too.
But even though the name may not be that good, I mean the the console itself looks nice. I mean, it's powerful. It's supposed to be as powerful as the PS3. So, it's gonna be kind of expensive since Sony pretty much...
They've not announced the price.
They haven't... They refused to announce the price when asked. But
our mouths dropped when we heard about a $600 console.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe 300 or 400. Those are the prices speculated.
It's not going to be great because the 3DS is $250.
$250, and even with $250, that's kind of expensive itself.
Have you ever seen a video called PS3 versus Wii?
Nope.
Where there are two girls that are representing the console. One girl says, "Hello, I am a Wii." And then another girl says, "And I'm the PS3.
That's like a PC versus Mac parody, right?
I believe so, yes. The Wii girl says, "I love fun." And the other girl says, "I'm expensive and I've got intelligence."
Oh, yes, I seen it. And the Wii girl is actually kind of good looking.
She's more fun.
Yeah.
I like go-kart races, room. And then the other girl says, "I'm about large money. I'm high definition graphics. If you want to play with me, I'm expensive." But that's not friendly to us.
Yeah, and actually the funny thing about that video is that the Wii girl is actually good looking and the and the PS3 girl is actually ugly. And that was the funny thing.
And she says, "Hello, Blu-ray, it's the future." But there's one thing I do agree with Reggie Fils-Aimé when he talks about his competitors. He's, again, the American president of Nintendo. He said that his other competitors talk about cutting-edge graphics, high definition, great technology, where our approach has always been about fun.
Yeah, and that's
the approach of video games as it should be.
Yes, and that's what video games were all about since their inceptions, pretty much.
That's how games should always be. If technology is going to be more unfriendly with prices, it will limit people.
Definitely.
And it would not get people in the race of getting into the console in the first place, perhaps.
It will make them wait for a price drop if they really want the thing.
That's why even with the Wii generation and PS3 generation, it took a bit of time to get everyone on the boat, you could say.
Yeah, because the PS3 wasn't selling that well until they released the PS3 Slim.
Even in 2007, they were announcing the possible death of the PS3.
Yeah, thank God it didn't happen because the PS3 is nice, but it was really expensive when it came out.
So if they're going to double the price of the 3DS, that'll be a horrid idea. Yeah. And guess who's going to win? The cheaper game console and the perhaps more fun game console, the 3DS.
Yeah, the 3DS is going to win.
If they want to compete, they have to have a competing price.
Yeah, and you know what the president said actually when asked about the price? Even though he didn't want to say the price, he said that the price when they announce it, it will make sense.
It'll make sense? That's horrible. That's so greedy.
So you know it's going
to make sense. Well, yeah, the PS3 made sense, and it took them how many years to get to where they are? It took them, 2 years to start up.
You know it's going to be expensive, even though it looks nice. It's going to have PS3 graphics.
It's going to make sense. I don't like that.
But it's nice. I mean,
come on, this is for children. Who's going to buy their kid, who's perhaps 8 years old, a $400 machine, when there's a machine that's perhaps the same as another video game console for $250 and it's 3D? They have to make a price that will compete.
And not only that, but the 3DS is gonna have games that appeal to pretty much everybody, the core gamers and the casuals. The NGP pretty much the games that would have is pretty much core gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, since the games announced are gonna be shooters like Uncharted and Killzone and Resistance, and also Little Big Planet, which appeal to the casuals. But in comparison, there's a lot more variety on the 3DS.
Well, they just announced the new console last morning, and then they said they're getting deals from Capcom, Tecmo. And then they'll get another Uncharted game. They didn't mention too much.
Yeah.
They really didn't give us any demos so far.
Yeah, but it has some nice features.
Just really features.
Yeah, like
Go ahead.
The touch screen on the front.
5 inches.
5 inches.
Which is 1.5 more than the iPod. That was a reference in the article.
And it also will have dual analog sticks, like the current controls of the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
It will have 3G, Wi-Fi, and GPS support, which will be useful to to get directions, I guess, if you're a kid and
if it improves gaming. If it improves gaming, yes.
Yeah, but I think it will be nice also to have a GPS, just to have like an application or something, or some use.
But we can speculate what gaming is all about right now.
Yeah.
Apparently the direction is features. The Nintendo is going with the movie idea with 3D, and PSP will of course have more features. You said that the PSP will provide a GPS?
Yes, I mean, that is not really necessary, but I think it's nice to have.
Here's the funny thought. You're in the car and your father's driving and saying, "Hey son, turn off your game. Could you give me directions to this next place?" All right, let me turn off the game. Pause. Get my GPS out. Take a left on Montgomery Street. Thanks, son. Okay, go back to playing. What was that game called again? Charted. It's Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Dad. Oh, who's winning?
But I don't know. It will have other features like a rear-mounted touchpad. I mean, you're gonna have a touchpad on the back.
On the front and the back, yes.
Yeah, on the back too. And they show a demo in which the touchpad on the back is used for climbing and stuff like that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, to make games more interactive, of course.
And we'll also have an accelerometer and gyroscope motion sensing, like the PlayStation
Lots of features.
Move. Yeah, that's a lot of features, and if the developers get creative, they can pretty much make solid games with that, I think.
Even with the Kinect, they said it's hard to make a game for the Kinect.
Yeah, and that's because you don't really have a controller to guide your character.
And they're going to, in order to make big games, they really have to demand developers to be creative with it and to have a game that they'll fall in love with.
Yeah, I mean the new PSP sequel sounds interesting as a hardware thing.
Oh,
but
no UMDs.
Oh well, there's not gonna be. They're gonna change the format. They mentioned that they're gonna use a new format, but they didn't say if it's gonna be
digitalized or hardware using
or hard copy. Yeah, but as far as I know, I think there's gonna be support for UMDs for all PSP games, but new games are not gonna be UMD format.
Well, let's talk about games. Do you think that games should be digitalized on the console?
Hell no.
I say the same thing.
Hell no. I mean, as a gamer, I want a collection, and I think a lot of gamers also want to have a collection, build up a nice collection.
Yes, because I believe that gamers have stemmed from the mindset of comic book collectors. We want collections, we want series, we want to show off our box art.
Definitely, we want to show off our collections too.
We like game libraries, we want collections.
Yeah, and that isn't possible with digital games. I mean, as much convenient as they can be, you don't really have anything besides the purchase. That's all you have.
And if you lose your one console, you lose all your games. And of course, games are more expensive than music titles. Because with music titles, digital prices are increasing while CD prices are decreasing. But that's because you have a different mindset. More users into music like digitalized tracks.
Yeah, and that's because
it saves clutter, and you can have it on this one tiny machine.
And that's because the thing with music is that you may like a song from an album, but you don't like the whole album, and so you don't want to buy the whole album for a single song or a per song. So
and gamers normally loyal to the game.
Yeah, that's convenient in the world of music, but in the world of gaming, you really want to have the hard copy in most cases.
That's because the mindset of gamers are collectors.
Yeah.
That's been since the beginning of gaming.
So I really hope the gaming industry doesn't go with the digital thingy.
I do not want cloud computing nor digitalized gaming in our future.
Me neither. I still want to build up my collection and I also want prices to drop, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Because here's what I think. If they're going to do digitalized gaming, they can save money on box art. That's horrible.
I mean, it's good if it's an indie independent studio that need this kind of.
I mean, indie games.
Yeah, indie games.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
I believe Toho, when they sell it in Japan, they do have it.
Yeah, but here in the US, there's the problem with piracy and all the stuff, and I think that digital media helps them. The independent.
You think if there's digitalized media, there would be more piracy?
No.
Is that a possibility?
Not really, or maybe
because people are able to rip data off CDs too. But if it were more digitalized, or if it were strictly on cloud computing, meaning it's all on the internet, not home.
When it comes to PC games, piracy is there. But when it comes to PS3 games, the pirates haven't been able to pirate the PS3 yet, even though there has been some stuff in there, some fights and lawsuits in there with a hacker and all the stuff.
I know that the DSi was made to help prevent piracy.
Yeah,
by eliminating the GBA slot, which was a dumb move.
Yeah, but it's not really. They are only looking for pretty much protecting their income.
But to eliminate backwards compatibility for the sole excuse to eliminate piracy is a very bad idea. At least keep the slot, because backwards compatibility is a consumer demand.
Definitely. I mean, if you buy a new console, you want support for the old console.
And or hybrid console playing has been a demand since the 90s and this decade. And of course the new decade, because it's 2011. Yep. Because let's go back to history on what games can do hybrid and backwards compatibility. We have the Game Boy, which can do Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Regular, Game Boy Color, and backwards compatibility. The DS has DS and Game Boy Advance, but cannot do color and backwards, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. For the Super Nintendo, you can be able to play the Game Boy, so multiple consoles. The SNES games have remakes, a little special. The PlayStation 2 provides 2 and 1, and there are museum games like Namco Museum or Sega Classics.
And the good thing about the NGP and the 3DS is that there's actually gonna be a backwards compatibility. So
for both, and that's very fortunate.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But for 3DS, there's not going to be a GBA slot.
Yeah, but that's two generations ago, pretty much. So
I know,
that's okay.
But if you really want to say you can completely replace your DS Lite, we'll have backwards compatibility for the Game Boy Advance.
If you have a DSi, you pretty much can replace it with a 3DS. If you
without a doubt.
Yeah, if you have a DS Lite, I will say keep it, don't sell it, because you can play Game Boy Advance games in there.
But if you're a collector, as I am, I just keep everything. I don't like to sell my games or my consoles at all.
Yeah.
Because right now I got 10 consoles now.
Yeah, you bought recently a new console, right?
I got an NES finally again.
Yes, the old one, the Nintendo console.
So far I've got 6 games on it. Super Mario Brothers / Duck Hunt. I got
Ultima.
I was gonna save it for later because I love those games. It's okay. Sorry, I'll say it now. I also got this game called Baseball Stars. It's alright. It's been a 1989 game by SNK, a good arcade company. I got Ultimate Exodus, Ultimate Quest of the Avatar, second game which I love so much. I love Avatar Quest of the Avatar. And what else did I have? Oh, Dragon Quest 1 and 2, or Dragon Warriors 1 and 2, which I also love as well.
That's great. You have you're building up your NES collection again. That's nice.
And last night I stumbled across this game that was very Dragon Quest looking. It's called Ghost Lion. It's made in 1992 for the NES, and it looks just like Dragon Quest. And the American box art looks like those dancing girls in the 80s with the curly hair and that little jumpsuit thing. What are those things?
No idea.
The box art's disgusting. But in the game, it's amazing. It's that anime girl.
That's nice.
And she's looking for a ghost line. It has the Dragon Quest fighting, where it goes to the black screen and you fight the screen in front of you.
That's nice.
But the American box art is atrocious.
Well,
it's like looking at the box art for a Full House.
Well, the box arts here in the US for the NES weren't really that good. I mean, Mega Man's box art was awful. And I don't know.
Yeah, just go for. If you look online for history of box art, there's actually something on Silicon where they actually go through history of many consoles and how they change their box art from time to time. That's an interesting article to look at.
Yeah,
I'll have to give that to you.
I think I have it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely gonna read it.
Because that's something really cool to look up, because some titles decide to have a red label on the top to say what console it was for. The Dreamcast went from white to black, and someone mixed around. In certain consoles, every company did whatever they want to keep it consistent, or they matched the console's design. They do whatever. They've had a little history and politics about it.
Oh, I see.
Really cool, really cool. Check it out.
And going back to my played games.
Yeah, please. Talk about the games you've bought for Black Friday and the games you've played and beaten.
Yeah, actually the games that I bought on Black Friday were Rock Band Beatles, which was awesome. If you love the Beatles as much as I do, if you love music, go ahead and buy Rock Band Beatles. It's a great game. It's fun. Even if you suck at playing that game, because I actually suck at those games.
That's 4 times.
Yeah.
But you said suck.
But really, I am really bad at these games. I have to play it on normal. I cannot play it on hard and the guitar, and I cannot play it on more than easy level in drums. But it's still it's a great game, great music.
If you like
great
Rock
graphics.
Band and if you like Beatles, here's a game for you.
Yeah, get that if you love the Beatles. Also, what I played was Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. It's, if you have a PS3 or an Xbox...
And that game was released before Sonic Unleashed, correct?
I have no clue, to be sincere.
Because that's what I remember. But talk about it. Is it a good Sega game?
Actually, well, I'm not much of a Sega guy myself, so I bought it because I was curious. Is this game good? I mean, I love racing games, I love Mario Kart, and I like Mod Nation Racers too. But... I wanted to see, is this game any good at all to be my third car racing game on the current generation. So I got it, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was a good game. I mean, it has characters from the Sonic universe, like Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Eggman, the pink one, I don't know the name of
Amy Rose.
Yeah, Amy. A lot of Tails also.
What's your opinion? What's better, Diddy Kong Racing or Sonic All-Star Racing?
Oh, I didn't play much Diddy Kong Racing. I mean, the planes... using planes didn't really appeal to me.
I
because
loved it.
I'm not really much into planes. I'm more into karts and stuff like that. But it also not only the game has Sonic characters, but it also has characters from the Sega games, like...
That's why I was thinking Diddy Kong Racing, because it was a hybrid of all these characters that you know and don't know.
Yeah.
And not so much like Mario Kart, because that one's a very solid game.
Yeah. And some of these characters are characters loved by the Sega fans, like the guy from Shenmue, Ryo.
Ryo, yes.
Yeah.
I bought... my best friend got me Shenmue, but my disc is warped. I was able to play an hour or two of the game. I am in love with that game, and I need to get a new copy of it. I am in love with the game. I've not even did a real battle yet. I've been a few hours in the game. Oh my god, I'm in love with it. I'm asking people who are Chinese. I'm looking for sailors. I'm looking for the man that killed my father. And to this time that has a day and night feature. I must be back by 11 or my grandmother will be angry at me and she will not give me my 500 yen allowance.
Okay, and as
I love this game. Oh my god, it's the gem of the Dreamcast. It's the one game to play. Go ahead.
Okay, other characters like Amigo.
It has Ryo in the game?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's really weird.
And his special is his truck, I think.
His what?
His little truck, pickup truck or something like that.
Oh, I've seen the little trailer for that. Why am I playing racing with all these animals?
Yeah. It also has Amigo from Samba de Amigo, also the little monkey from Super Monkey Ball, and
nice.
And different and other characters. And
what does he race with a race car or with his ball?
His special is actually his big ball, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he uses a cart just like everyone else. There are carts. Tails has an airplane.
Yes.
And also there are motorcycles. So there's a variety. And each character has a special attack, which is something that not even Mario Kart has. So,
a special attack?
Yeah. Each character has a special attack.
Well, the one game with Mario that has really ultimate moves is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which I loved a lot. And no. In Double Dash, there were certain power-ups that were exclusive to them, actually. I believe.
Hey guys.
Ooh. Hey, what's up, Dan?
What's up, Dan?
See, the Big Game Freaks, totally an unpredictable show because you don't know who's going to come on the air, right?
Hey, you're the guy from episode 1.
So what's going on this week, guys?
You sold your Dreamcast. I cannot believe you.
Yes, I did.
That is a shame.
But you're going to take me to that store, right? Digital Press?
Yes, we will go there pretty soon.
Oh, okay. Well, have you guys told your audience about the live show you guys are doing?
Not yet, but do you want to announce it now?
You guys do it.
Let's do it.
I'll be right back, but you guys do it.
All right, then we'll tell you what we're on. All right.
Go ahead, Sean.
Next week, from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we are going to introduce our first live show. The topic will be what we define as true gamers, what games you think we should all be equipped with, what genres we need to know, and anything else you think might define a true gamer. Our live episode is next Friday from 12 o'clock to 1 p.m. Our studio phone number is 201-507-0614. Again, our phone number, get a pen, 201-507-0614. So if you call between the hours of next week on Friday, 12 o'clock to 1 p.m., we will put you on the air and you can contribute to the definition or anything you want to talk about. What do you think people should be playing nowadays? What do you think people should be playing back then? And what do you think is your definition of a true gamer?
Okay.
Very exciting.
And do you think that will be a show?
That'll be a show because here's the thing. Juan and I actually don't agree on what makes a true gamer.
Definitely, we don't agree, and that's what I thought it will be a good topic to get not just one view, but two views that pretty much are opposites.
And we'd say that both are equally true, I feel, ultimately.
Yeah.
Because there are many flavors.
Depends on your view, definitely.
I'd say that I'm...
But let's save that for next week.
I don't know, because I feel that you might say that I have too much of a demanding view, and me and you, I'd say maybe not as demanding.
Yeah.
But I'd say both are equally valid. True gamers, I say, are those who love video games and are in the current practice of playing them.
Let's save
all right.
That for next week. We don't want to give away.
Very good episode. Please call again one last time, 201-507-0614.
Okay.
All right.
And that'll be the show. I'll get into other games that I play next week or the next one maybe. And
well, we have a little time. Let's talk about what games or what game we'd recommend to you guys.
Well, I'm definitely going to get more in depth later or next week.
Recommend a game.
But I'm pretty much I want to recommend 3D Dot Game Heroes. And it's a PS3 exclusive, but it's a pretty nice game. It's a Zelda-inspired game, and it's kind of an old-schoolish feel. Has an old-schoolish feel.
How much is a PS3 Sim nowadays?
Huh?
How much is a PS3 Sim nowadays?
How much is what?
Is a PS3 Sim, I'm sorry.
How much is the PS3 system?
Yeah, how much is it nowadays?
300, I guess, right?
Still the most expensive.
Yeah, but it's not
the
really...
Wii is $199 or cheaper because of Black Friday and even Christmas.
Yeah, but the PS3 system has a Blu-ray. I mean, you can. It's not only a gaming console, but also a console with features on different media. That's something nice to have, especially if you have an HD TV.
I guess their prices make sense. I'm sorry, I just can't get over that.
Yeah, pretty.
Reminds me of that little commercial. All right, a game that I recommend. Well, 2 games. I'm an RPG lover. I must. I recommend you guys, if you love the NES games, if you want a graphically appealing game, look for Ultima Quest of the Avatar. I bought mine for $10.
That's cheap.
Very wonderful game. And if you want a bit of a rarer game, but again, it was very influential and it's a great game, Phantasy Star. I'm on the merge of trying to beat the entire series on Phantasy Star 1, 2, 3, 4, and perhaps get the online games. I'd want to. I'm even told the online service is free for Phantasy Star. I don't know. And also introduced lots of hacking.
Wow.
That's why with future MMORPGs, there's a single-player mode and a multiplayer mode, just like with Diablo 2. Because people would hack the game with single-player and then bring your hacked characters into multiplayer. And that's why the majority of Phantasy Star back then were a bunch of cheaters with the online game.
Yeah.
So it did have to fix a few things, so that was another innovation.
Okay, so that'll be...
Going back with Ultima, even Ultima had an online game. How coincidental. Ultima Online was perhaps the first MMORPG.
Wow.
And Again, it set the standards for future online games, and also, you can actually steal from other players.
Wow.
In order to do that, you have to be level 50 as a thief, not to do any crimes when going up to level 50. Then you join a thieves guild, then you're allowed to steal. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That both series that I recommend have an online version near the end of their history. That's amazing.
Okay, guys, that'll be the show for today.
That concludes our episode.
Yeah, take care, guys, and listen to us next week.
See you next week, and please participate.
Take care, bye.
See you next time.